What up, guys? This is DJ back again with another Sickle vlog. And today, I want to thank my best friend Imani, my uncle Lonzo, and my homegirl La Liz for the 3 topics that I'm going to speak on today. My best friend's topic was self-care. And with Sickle, self-care is definitely most important when it comes down to it. Don't let anybody have you thinking you're not doing what you're supposed to. If you know you've been drinking enough water and eating the right way and exercising the way you should, then you know you're doing what you're supposed to. What people don't get is that even when you're drinking enough water, or even when you're exercising and eating and taking your meds on the regular, Sickle doesn't care about that. It'll still sit in and creep up on you and have you in the ER every other day, no matter what you're doing. And everybody's Sickle is different, and most people don't understand that. They don't get the concept of, just because my Sickle is as severe as it is, my little sister's isn't. Hers is more mild, and people don't see that. It's not oh, you're not doing what you're supposed to, that's why you're always sick. It's a Sickle doesn't care. Because for the most part, I drink enough water, I stay hydrated. And if I'm not drinking water, I'm drinking Gatorade or Powerade. Like, I take care of myself. I take my pain meds. I take my regular meds. I take 8 different pills a day. And that's what people don't see behind closed doors. They don't get the comprehension of, oh, he is taking care of himself. Sickle just doesn't care. So it's not oh, you're not doing what you're supposed to. It could happen at any moment. I can go from sitting right here, right now, talking to you guys as I do this vlog, and in the next 20 minutes end up in the ICU. That's just the way Sickle works. And that's basically just topic number 1. That's self-care. As long as you're taking care of yourself, not stressing, not overworking yourself, you staying hydrated, you taking your meds, you staying on top of your fluids, you're doing what you're supposed to as a Sickle warrior. Don't let nobody tell you different. Don't let nobody tell you that you're not. They don't have Sickle, so they can't say anything about it. They don't know the ins and outs of this. So basically, you just keep doing what you're doing as a warrior as long as you're taking care of yourself. If you got a coat on and a hat and gloves when it's cold and you still manage to get sick, you were still taking care of yourself. You still had that self-care. So don't let people come at you and tell you anything different. As for my unc's topic, as of living life after being diagnosed with Sickle, I was super young when I was diagnosed with Sickle. I was 3 months old. So for me, I just basically grew with it. Other people, they find out when they're older. Some find out when they're younger. But as long as you sit down and study it and get the breakdown of it, you can live a perfectly normal life. You don't have to let things stop you. Like, as for me, when I was in high school, the doctors wanted to put a port in because my veins were so bad and it was so hard to get an IV that they started going in the top of my foot. They started going in my leg, and they had to do ultrasound IVs. But once those started failing, the port was the only other option, which nobody told me what a port was. Nobody described it. They were just telling me, oh, we'll put something in your chest and we'll be able to get blood work, give you meds, give you fluids, give you blood. But because they never told me what it was, I never knew the full ins and out of it, which is my fault because I didn't look it up. And that just comes with living life after Sickle. You have to know these things. You have to sit down and brush up on it. Like, what people don't get is, once you're diagnosed with it, it's not a death sentence. It's not oh, you only have this, and this to live. It's a, no, now I have an illness. Now I have to take care of myself better. Like, I have to stay more hydrated than people. I have to wear more layers in the winter when it's cold. I have to stay cooler in the summer when it's hot. It's all about how you go about it. Like, I was diagnosed with it with 3 months, when I was 3 months old. Had my first crises, I think, when I was 10 months old. But I grew into it, and I learned how to tell when my body wasn't right, when something wasn't feeling normal. I learned how to catch on to it, and I learned how to decipher whether, oh, this is an ER visit, or this is a, oh, I need to be admitted type of visit. And that's all it basically comes down to. Once you're diagnosed, it's more of a just go about it as you can.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Is that right?
With all the respect, when you help me with some change, I got 35 cents. I'm trying to go to Wendy's.
Let me
I was gonna go see people help me.
let me see. I'll give you the change I got in the car.
Alright, guys.
It's all right. That's all the change I got.
So,
No problem. Sorry for the interruption, guys, but I'm in the car right now at the car wash. I was cleaning out the car, and the homeless man needed help with some change. So, back to what I was saying, though. Once you're diagnosed with sickle cell, it doesn't have to be the end of your life. It doesn't have to be a drag on your life. You just have to learn how to maintain what you're doing and how you do it. Like when I was in high school, they told me I couldn't play any contact sports, or I wouldn't be able to play most sports because of my health. But I learned that as long as I stay hydrated and I stay on top of my exercises and I'm not overexerting myself, I could do anything. I ended up playing volleyball for 3 years. Like, I ended up running on indoor track for a little. But I learned that just because I was diagnosed with something doesn't mean that I had to let it stop me, that I had to sit down and let it control my life, because it doesn't. And that's just, once you're diagnosed, you can still go about your everyday life with no problem. And as for La Liz's topic, people have to realize sickle cell is just basically my cells are shaped like sickles, like almost like a croissant, compared to everybody else's cells that are circular shaped. They're easy to flow. They don't get blocked. Mine are like croissants, and they get sticky and they block off certain areas. Like, and when it blocks off that area, the blood flow stops, so it causes more pain to that certain area. Like, and it can happen anywhere. Like, people don't know, like, I get most of my sickle cell crises in my lower back and legs, because that's where most of the blood sickles. But then a couple years back, it got so bad that I ended up with priapism. And priapism is basically an erection that lasts longer than 4 hours. And that's because the sickle blood cells sickle down there, and there's no blood flow, so the blood can't return. So now you're just erect and it hurts. And that's all because of the shape and because they're sticky. If they were normal and circular and they could flow, it wouldn't be a problem. Like, you could have sickle cell crises in your hands, in your ears, in your nose. Anywhere that blood flows, you can have a sickle cell crisis. And it's basically, people have to brush up on it. They're like, no, if you do this, this, and that, you won't have these issues. Once again, yes, just because you brushed up on it and you read it in a book and you did school for it, does not mean you're correct, does not mean you're right. It just means you read something in a book. Everybody's sickle cell is different, and it changes on different people. Like, I know somebody that gets sickle cell crises in their knuckles and in their shoulders. And then I know somebody else that gets sickle cell crises in their feet and in their toes. Like, it's all on how your blood flow goes and how it reacts to the flow of blood. Like, sometimes my blood flow is perfect, and then sometimes it's not. It's all about blood flow. And basically, it's just crescent blood cells that get stuck because they're sticky. They block off blood flow to certain areas, and it causes sickle cell pain. That's the bottom line. But sickle cell also does cause other underlying issues. Like, I have restrictive lung disease. Like, my right lung doesn't fully inflate from being scarred over so much from having acute chest pneumonia. Like, I've had a stroke. I've been on life support. I've been in a coma. Like, I have a small aneurysm in the back of my head. I have a DVT in my right shoulder. And for those of you that don't know what a DVT is, it's basically a blood clot. Like, I have avascular necrosis in my hips. Like, I suffer from migraines. And it's all because of blood flow. Like, sickle cell would be the umbrella, and everything else just flows under it. Like, it causes so many other issues, all simply because of blood flow. And like, I can't go fully in depth about anybody else's blood flow or anybody else's sickle cell because I don't know their case. I don't know their situation. I only know mine. So I can only give you what I know about me and what I know about sickle cell. But if you guys want to take the time, when you get a free time, look it up online, grab a book, brush up on it. Because some of you people don't understand how bad sickle cell is. Y'all just think, oh, we're faking it, or you can't see the pain, so you think it's not real or it's not there. But the pain really is there, and it really does exist. So at the end of the day, you can't judge us off what you can't see. And people ask me all the time, like, oh, you look perfectly fine. It's because I've been dealing with this all my life. Literally. I'm 26. I've been dealing with it all my life. I know how to go about it. Like, falling out and crying doesn't get me nowhere. So I've learned how to calm myself down and just breathe and like relax until the pain subsides. And if it doesn't, I've learned how to go to the hospital or use a heating pad. And most recently, I learned how to start praying for myself and just asking God to bless, to fix the problem areas. But everybody's different, and everybody's sickle cell case is different. And I know it may sound like I'm repeating myself, but I just want you guys to get the concept. One person's sickle cell is not everybody's sickle cell. And y'all don't see that. Just like some of you brush up on sickle cell and think y'all know more than us. Like, no, you don't know my body. You don't know my sickle cell. I've even had doctors come in and try to tell me about my sickle cell. No, see, you studied it. You did all this test and all that about sickle cell. I live with sickle cell. Like, when these doctors get to go home and these nurses get to go home and take off their scrubs, they get to be a completely different person. They're no longer the doctor or nurse that's in the hospital. They're their regular selves. When I go home, I still have this sickle cell attached to me. So I just need y'all to understand that everybody's sickle cell is not the same, and everybody's sickle cell is different, and it changes in different people. And I just need y'all to understand, sometimes the stuff y'all say is inconsiderate, and y'all have to realize that, yes, I'm back in the hospital again, or yes, I'm in the ER again, because my health is where it is. So don't just say it and think it's okay to walk away and be cool with it, because it's not. You affect people. And like, what y'all don't get is, sickle cell patients, sickle cell warriors, our mental sometimes is off because we don't get a break. Like, some of y'all don't know how it feels to spend a holiday or a major holiday in the hospital. Like, I spent Christmas in the hospital. Like, I've spent Thanksgiving in the hospital. I've been there, and most of you never will or have ever been there. So you can't judge us off of, oh, why does it seem like he has an attitude or he's always upset? Because I've missed birthdays in the hospital. I've missed funerals in the hospital, all because of sickle cell. But when it boils down to it, we just need y'all to work with us and dwell with us according to knowledge. Like, if you don't know something, just ask. Don't assume and don't make smart statements. Just let us know. And basically, check on your friends with sickle cell. We go through a lot in the winter in these cold months. Just if you text your sickle cell friend and just let them know, oh, I'm here for you. If you want to talk, you're doing better than most. And basically, that's the end of my video. This one was a little longer because I had 3 topics to go over. But that's how I'm going to start doing it from now on. Before I post a vlog, I'm going to ask you guys for a topic, and I'm going to go off that. And I want to shout out my best friend, Imani Wilson, for giving me the topic of self-care. I want to shout out my Uncle Lonzo for the topic of dealing with sickle cell after being diagnosed with it. And I want to shout out my homegirl, La Liz, for the topic of getting people to understand sickle cell and like the shape of sickle cells and what is sickle cell. And don't forget to like, share, comment on this video, and just be a supporter. I'm out.